On behalf of Cameron Barty, Stefarino Fernandez, Joseph Michaels, Luis Quintanilla, and myself, Gary Morris, we are Project 7, Human Agent Interaction. Last semester was all about the design and planning of our project. This semester was all about the implementation and testing of that design. We implemented the project over 3 phases, known as Sprints 1, 2, and 3. During Sprint 1, our focus was on implementing the front end of our project. This involved the creation of multiple web pages, in addition to ensuring the web pages functioned as desired. Sprint 2 focused on the implementation of the back end of our project. This involved the creation of 2 servers, one Node.js-based and the other Java-based. The Node.js server handled the flow of a person's experience to the website. It also collected and stored the questionnaire data. The Java-based server, known as WebSwing, is responsible for the conversion and manipulation of the Microworld Hospital Get Java game into HTML elements, as well as recording the research data on the server. We also created an editor to assist the research team in setting up the research environment. Now, each of the team members will talk about their focus areas.
Hello, my name is Cameron Barty, and I will be discussing the Microworld Hospital Java application and the modifications our team made to it for this project. Microworld Hospital is the game program used by the Adapt Lab to gather data for their research. In this game, players play alongside a computer-controlled player called the Agent, as both players manage their own simulated hospital. Players can choose whether to share resources with the Agent, and the data gathered as the game is played is used to study how various factors affect the player's cooperation level with the Agent. Our team did not develop the Microworld Hospital application. However, our team made various modifications to the code. Previously, the program would show a screen with many configurable options and fields upon startup. This is cumbersome and allows the user to alter settings and values they should not have access to. In our team's modified version of the game, 2 game sessions are played each time the game is run. First a practice session, and then the full game, after which the program terminates. Rather than being manually entered, the user ID is now automatically generated by the server and passed in as an argument. Also, the appropriate game config file is automatically loaded for each game session. Instead of a config window, the user is shown an informative splash screen along with a button to start the game. Error checking on the passed-in user ID ensures that any data with a corrupt or missing user ID is flagged with a special error user ID. Previously, the data files generated by the program were simply dumped into the same directory as the program's jar file and had to be manually collected from each separate machine running the program. Now, however, the data is sorted by user ID into folders, which are all stored in one place on the server, eliminating the need for manual collection and sorting of the data. Another modification our team made was to remove the program's surrounding frame. This was to prevent the user from accessing the close and minimize buttons, which would allow them to prematurely close the program, thus corrupting the study. The sponsor also requested that we change a variety of names and terms used in the program. Most of the changes are indicated in this screenshot. Our team also had to modify the program to notify the Node.js server once the game had ended, so that the user could be automatically advanced to the next page.
Hello, Luis here, and I will talk about the Gui Program Configurator. The Microworld Hospital study utilizes a game configuration file that defines the agent and player interaction levels. In order to ease this process for the sponsor to switch between high and low cooperation levels, we decided to make a Gui Program Editor using Java Swing that allows the easy switch between the two. The settings program utilizes a .properties file that indicates where the folder locations are for the configuration files for the game. Upon opening the program, the user has to locate the folder locations, that way it can be saved in the .properties file. Once the first step is done, the program will always show the current configuration file displayed in the table along with its variables and values. The user can easily switch between high and low cooperation by going to File and switching the profiles. By default, the user will not be able to edit any variables within the table unless the option Make Table Editable is selected. The user is not allowed to select any cells that are not variables, and are also not allowed to enter anything but Boolean or numeric values. The program was designed for ease of usage for the user to switch between the profiles and make any custom edits if needed. This allows an easier configuration and to start the study immediately.
Hello, this is Stefarino Fernandez, and I'm here to talk about the Node backend server. Node.js is a modern framework that allows you to write a backend server in JavaScript. This node server is in charge of mapping the endpoints for the HTML pages, routing the users through these web pages, creating unique IDs for the users visiting these pages, extracting data from the questionnaires, and creating files for them. The server sends over a unique ID as a cookie to the client's browser, and this cookie is grabbed by WebSwing and later on in the post questionnaire page to keep track of which user is who. The node server makes sure to create a directory for this unique ID and create a CSV to hold the information gathered by the questionnaires. There is also a cookie shield implemented, which disallows a user from retaking this server by either refreshing the web page or trying to go backwards through the pages. The cookie shield works as an incrementer where each page checks for a certain value in the cookie. Then the page either increments the value of the cookie when they are allowed or sends them directly to the last page when they are disallowed. Although this cookie shield cannot block people who browse incognito and people who clear their cookies, this is a good start to blocking the majority of people who will be taking this survey and ensure data integrity.
Hi, my name is Joe Michaels, and I'll be discussing our implementation and use of the WebSwing server. The main focus of this semester centered around bringing the provided codebase onto a web platform. This proved challenging as the Java application relied heavily on Swing GUI elements, limiting our hosting options. This was further exacerbated by the business need for the client not to be required to have a Java runtime environment installed locally. This led to a serving application called WebSwing. WebSwing is an open source solution that is built in Java and allows us to satisfy both of the previously stated requirements. Initial setup for our team was a simple matter of cleaning up the sample programs and pointing the services to the jar containing the application we wished to host. WebSwing provides a GUI interface to access current run status configuration, allowing the sponsor to set the number of max simultaneous users, set a timeout, and other options including security access and protocols. The Microworld Hospital application is set to start on server boot, minimizing the amount of overhead required by the sponsor when they wish to conduct a new study. Another benefit of WebSwing is that it provides us with the natural means to embed the application into a web page using only a bit of JavaScript code. When a user loads the page containing the embedded code, arguments are passed through the JavaScript to that particular instance of Microworld Hospital. This allows for consistent data collection and ease of use for the sponsor to process the information as it is grouped anonymously by the user.
Hi, it's Gary again. My contributions included acting as team lead, managing and organizing our administrative load, as well as web page coding, Microworld Hospital coding, project integration, documentation, and video creation.
Hello, again, my name is Cameron Barty. On this project, I was responsible for most of the updates that were done to the Microworld Hospital program code, excluding removing the frames from the program's windows and the code that flags the Nodejs server that the Microworld Hospital program has ended. I was also responsible for writing most of the documentation on the updates to the Microworld Hospital program. Additionally, I made significant contributions early on to the team's vision document, set up the team's log file, and even did research into replicating the Microworld Hospital program's code in JavaScript until that idea was scrapped.
Hello, Luis here again. I contributed by viewing over the vision document, creating the GUI program, creating the documentation for the settings program, making edits to the tutorial on the HTML web pages, recorded and edited the presentation for the vocals on this video, and provided tasty beverages for the group upon meetings.
Hey, this is Sefrino, and this semester I wrote the Node backend server, which includes routing the web pages, creating unique IDs for the users, gathering the information from the questionnaire pages, creating directories and CSVs using the unique IDs, the client-side cookie shield, and my part in the documentation.
Hi, it's Joe again. My main contributions were the research, setup, and usage of WebSwing, data migration, task testing, and documentation.